Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of Speed Racing Network. My name's Jake Rowell. I'm here with Dean Brummett, and eventually our pit reporter Daniel Badler, who we'll touch on before the race rolls off. But ladies and gentlemen, we're here at the Talladega Superspeedway for the week one of the playoffs for SRN's Truck Series, the Talladega Days 135. Dean Brummett, buddy, are you ready for this?
I am, buddy. I'm just happy to be back in the booth after a couple little changes in life the last few weeks. But yeah, Jake, definitely ready to see this thing tonight, man. I mean, plate racing is always fun, especially here with Speed Racing Network.
Oh, absolutely! It's going to be a great time. This series, it's all come down. The regular season's over. We're in our first week of the playoffs, so we've had. It's a 20-week schedule. Every single driver's got a fixed setup. So at the end of the day, man, it's all about that driver behind the wheel making the difference. You get two faster pairs, so if you get caught up in the big one here tonight, you'll be able to come down pit lane and fix your truck, as well as its $5 entry fee every single week, leading to weekly as well as season payouts, including first place prize, Dean Brummett, $300 to the winner. And then also we got the team championship bringing $100 for the team of either 4 or 5 drivers. So you split that up. That's either $20 a person or another $25. Man, money, Dean.
Oh, absolutely, Jake. Got to love those dollars, buddy. Got to go out and chase them any way you can. And like I said, a lot of money here on the line with Speed Racing Network.
Oh, you know it. I mean, it's a great thing we have. Obviously, to have weekly and season payouts, it's a huge deal here, Dean.
Yeah, Jake, definitely love those payouts. And I tell you what, Jake, we're actually going to look here tonight. We're going to do a new segment here with Speed Racing Network called Matching Wits with Gerwitz.
All right, guys. We have Michael Madden on this week. He drives the number 15 Ford F-150 for Rev to Racing. How you doing today, Michael?
Good. How are you, man?
Very good. So, seems to be you have a lot of fans out there.
I do. I bring a few to the show every Wednesday night.
That's what it seems to be. But what was your thoughts on the season this year?
It was kind of started off hot, cooled off, kind of kept it consistent the rest of the year. Really looking forward to trying to get back in victory lane for this playoff run, but consistency, top fives will get it done. So I like where we're at right now, and we're heading into a nice championship run, I feel like.
Yeah, you look good all season long, and we're coming up to Talladega. What is your plan at this week's race on Wednesday?
To be honest with you, man, it's just a crapshoot. You can do the conservative route of staying in the back, but then and once the green flag waves, the kind of mindset goes out the window. So, I mean, I like to be up front. I definitely get a point for leading the lap, but kind of just go where the race pushes me. If I have to stay in the back, I'll stay in the back. But if I'm leading, I'm not going to duck out of the lead.
That is true, but how did you get your start in iRacing, and how long have you been on this platform?
So I started actually last August. I went over to my buddy's house. I've been wanting to do it since I was a little kid, but never really thought it was like a feasible thing. But I went over to my buddy's house and turned a couple laps, and I was like, all right, man, now I got to buy a computer. And my uncle helped me get going. He's an IT guy, so kind of got me going with the start. And then I've had like all this stuff since I was in 7th grade. So I kind of just mini upgrades and off and running.
Then in the team points, it looks like you guys have a nice commanding lead over the other teams. Well, what's your thoughts on that?
That was the goal when we set up. We're a pretty close team. You know yourself, you're part of Rev, so
yes, I am.
We do everything together. So that was kind of the goal, to win the team championships, and we're pretty much dominating that, I feel like, and I don't think it's going to end at this point. I think we're just going to continue gapping the rest of the teams out there, and especially having 3 of the 5 of us in the playoffs, it's just going to continue working together, especially the 2 guys that aren't in the playoffs. They're just going to push to win the second-tier playoffs. So good finishes are coming for the whole team.
Yeah, and who are you most worried about going in the playoffs? Like, who's your biggest competition out there?
It's been me in that 3-car all year, man, back and forth. Cole Martin's been coming up, and he's been having a good good couple weeks, but I mean, it's been me in that 3 all year long, so it'll be fun to see what happens.
And if you had to pick one driver to win the championship other than you, who would it be?
It's got to be the 3. That's my biggest.
Got to be a 3 of Corey Saucier.
Yeah, Mr. Saucier. If I couldn't get it done, I think he'll get it done. He's just consistent like myself. He's fast every week, so.
And consistency will pay off. But
So.
All right, thank you for coming on, Mike.
Hey, thanks for having me, man.
Yep.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. That is our first ever Matching Wits with Gerwitz. Gotta love that. Just giving a little bit more insight, getting to know these drivers behind the wheel. That first driver being Michael Mann for the Truck Series here tonight. Obviously, now back to the normal show, so to speak. We got our race payouts here. First place going to come home with $25. Second place is going to be $15. Third place and fourth place are going to be $10 a piece. And then fifth through seventh are going to be coming home with their money, Dean.
Yeah, Jake, and got a lot of drivers here this evening. Going to be a very, very interesting show. Everyone's going to be fighting for that cash just for this race. But Jake, there's a little more cash on the line that I think everybody's fighting for here, and that's going to be our season-long payouts here, sponsored by Griffith CPA firm. Now, first place in our championship is going to win $300. Second place will win $150. Third place will win $100. Fourth place will win $75, and fifth place will bring home $50. And Jake, you mentioned it at the top of the show, that $100 team championship. So a lot of money to be spread around here in the Speed Racing Network Truck Series.
Oh, there definitely is. And that's the best thing, I think, is that team championship. It just kind of gets your whole team morale for it. And, it's something to just all season long be paying attention to, get the team going for it. It's a great aspect to have here, on the season payouts. But something else, Dean, that's new this week. Going to be starting off, obviously, with the normal playoffs for our top 15 drivers, but the Flavor Bomb second-tier playoffs, it's going to be really, really interesting to watch as this, plays out for everyone else that aren't in the top 15.
Yeah, Jake, those guys have raced very, very hard all season, and, you see a couple of them there last week just miss it by the slightest of margin. I know that our final driver who made it in by 1 point, Jake. So for the rest of the guys behind that second-tier championship is really, really huge, gives them something to fight for. They may not be able to wear the crown at the end of the season, but definitely something worth fighting for.
Absolutely, and something else to be fighting for this season, all season long, is going to be that ever-elusive butt kicker clean driver award. Going to go home to the cleanest driver of the season, the guy that has the least amount of incidents per lap. You're going to get a butt kicker. It's something you can add to your sim racing experience to, your office chair, or even if you got a sim rig, you slap that onto it. It just kind of emulates every single kind of movement you'd feel if you're sitting right down, in the tub of a race car, curbs every bumps on the track. It's a really great thing. And also, if you aren't able to win it, or if you're one of our fans at home that watch and you're like, man, I want to add that to my sim rig, you can go onto their website, buttkicker.com, and use our discount code SRNVS20 to save 20% off your order.
Yeah, Jake, and another thing here that you can order with Speed Racing Network is some coaching sessions with iRacing's resident hard charger, Kane Cook. Kane Cook has actually come on board with us this season at Speed Racing Network to kind of help out and, amongst the 3 series, give some coaching. I mean, a lot of these racetracks are very, very difficult to figure out, and what better way to learn them than from one of iRacing's Coca-Cola professional drivers in Kane Cook. He's got a 74-14 I rating, which to kind of put that in perspective, the most I rating you really see out of any of these guys in this truck series tonight is towards the upper side of 2,000, and so I mean this guy's just got a ton of talent. Jake, he knows how to drive from the back to the front, and from the front stay there, and like I said, just a lot of what he has done this season has been beneficial for these drivers.
No doubt at all. And, right to it is obviously going to be our team standings here. This is what it's all about, that $100 for the team championship. It's going to be led off, obviously, by Rev Racing. They've got 3 wins so far. They've got almost a 200-point lead over Jonathan Byer Racing, who's in second. They've been just consistent all season long. You don't see a number besides the 0 in the win column, but that doesn't mean they're out of this thing. They're just that consistent. Then third, you got R&D Motorsports, another 3-win team, sitting there in third. They've just had a little bit of bad luck, and the same thing can be said with the fourth-place team, Striker Motorsports. They're kind of hanging on for dear life at this point with no wins at all yet, but you never know. Coming to a plate track they could get that first win, get the monkey off the back. And then you got Bronco Motorsports. They got 6 wins as a team. But Dean, man, it's really been a 2-horse show there for Bronco Motorsports, no pun intended, with Andrew Harris and Cole Martin. And you got Team SRN, Tank Racing, and H2K Motorsports rounding out our top 8 here. These teams probably just haven't had the season they were wishing for, and that's why you see them mirrored back here and towards the end of this listing.
Yes, sir. And like you said, Jake, some of these guys just a rougher season, but man, Bronco Motorsports, if they could have the showing for everybody, they could definitely be leading this Sandwich Man Racing Sports Memorabilia Team Championship. And check out Sandwich Man Racing Sports Memorabilia on Shopify for any type of souvenirs that you're looking for anything auto racing related. Now, Jake, the next thing we're going to take a look here during our show is actually going to be our playoff standings. These are the guys that made the top 15 and the guys that are going to be fighting for that championship. So after last week's race at Martinsville, the points completely reset, or Richmond, sorry, Jake, the points completely reset. And in resetting, there were bonus points that were allotted for drivers based off wins, laps led, everything of that sort. So kind of starting off the top here, you've got Cole Martin with a very, very healthy lead, 11 points leading into this, or I'm sorry, 9 points leading in. Listen to me, Jake. I think I'm going to be out of the booth for 1 week and I forget how to do math. You got Corey Saucier coming in there in second for R&D Motorsports, Michael Madden in third for Rev Racing with 2012 points. Andrew Harris, 2 points behind him for Bronco. Nathan Nixon with 2006. Byron McDonald, our co-broadcaster for Sunday nights, there for Rev Racing, he's got 2003. Jonathan Byer, the owner of JBR, with 2002, tied with his driver Matt Johnson, and Bobby Anderson, the one that barely managed to sneak in last week, Jake. You got Kyle Wimble there for JBR, tied with 10th with Jose Castellanos and Josh Mueller for Stryker Motorsports and Tank Racing, respectively. Then Brandon Domain for Stryker Motorsports, Jack Johnson and Robert Yost for Jonathan Byer Racing and Team SRN rounding out. They're coming in with no bonus points, Jake. So, from there to the very bottom, you're dealing with 26 points. But over these next few races, you definitely got time to make your way to the top of that. Try not to be that group of drivers eliminated.
Exactly, and now we're going to dive into a little news segment here. We're going to give you a little short preview of every single driver. First is going to be Cole Martin, that 85 truck for Bronco Motorsports. You see that there. He's got 4 wins on the season, man. He's been on rails tonight. He's going to be looking to go back to back, I believe, 3 in a row. Actually, 4 in a row, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, tonight here at Talladega, Dean.
Yeah, Jake, actually looking at the numbers here, definitely is 3 in a row. So he's looking to make his name known. You got Corey Saucier this season looking for his 4th win. He's got 3 already. He's from R&D Motorsports, and he is second in the points.
Exactly. And on to our 3rd place driver here. It's going to be the 15 truck of Michael Madden there. You see 3rd place for Rev Racing. He's got 2 wins. Started off really strong in the early start of the season, but man, he's just been bringing home 11 top 5s this season, Dean. I mean, what more consistency do you need in the playoffs?
Nope, that's exactly what you need there, Jake. And who's going to look to dethrone him but our driver in 4th? It's going to be Andrew Harris, another Bronco Motorsports car, or truck in this case, the number 87. He's got 2 wins on the season. So, like I said, he may not quite have the extra 2 wins that his teammate has up there, Jake, but he's definitely got him a couple. So that's going to be a little more momentum, some extra bonus points to carry in.
It really has, and we've had 2 Bronco drivers, and now we're going to have our 2nd Rev Racing driver going to be in 5th place. It's going to be that 33 truck, Nathan Nixon. He's got 1 win, that ever elusive win at the Daytona Road Course, passing Daniel Ballard, running out of fuel, coming to the checkered flag. Got to watch out for him. We go to COTA later on in the playoffs.
You better watch out, Jake. Your pit reporter, Daniel Badler, knows where we're sitting at. So, Jake, coming up next, you've got our co-broadcaster in 6, Byron McDonald. No wins this season, but he's been very, very consistent. He's had 3 5th-place finishes there for Rev Racing, so he's looking to put that illustrious win there in the column. Hopefully he can go through and get that done tonight.
Hey, you never know what can happen, especially here at the high banks at Talladega Superspeedway. But a guy sitting back here in 7th place, man, that I think is going to have to – you're going to have to watch out for him. He was pretty consistent last season. He's been that same way this season. It's going to be that 66 of Jonathan Byer for his own team, Jonathan Byer Racing. So you got to watch out for JB through these playoffs.
Yeah, Jake, he's definitely going to be a hard one to contend with, and so is going to be his teammate slash I guess you'll call it employee of Matt Johnson. He's going to be coming up next there. Seventh place. He's finished second 2 times this year, so he's been very, very close a couple times. Jake, and that 61 truck, like I said, he's got that thing pointed in the right direction. Very well could be looking for a win soon.
Oh yeah, he's definitely got it pointed in the right direction. The last few weeks, he's been up front, ready to go, charging hard, and this next driver as well, Bobby Anderson. We saw him squeak into the playoffs at Richmond Raceway with 1 point over one of the fellow drivers not making it. But again, man, he might not be having these great finishes, but man, all you need to do is just flip that switch for these playoffs, and Bobby Anderson can start advancing his way through the first and second round and find himself with a shot to win it at Texas Motor Speedway, Dean.
Well, Jake, that's the joy. It's not where you start, it's where you finish. And if anybody could tell you that, it's our next driver on the list. Going to be Kyle Wimble for JBR. Once again, no wins this season, Jake. His best finish has been a second. The one thing with KW here, he seemed to kind of start middle of the pack towards the back a few times and just been able to work his way up very, very consistently, always there at the finish. And I have a feeling the championship won't be too much different for him.
Oh, definitely not. I tell you what, those hats are sharp there for Jonathan Byer Racing. But we're going to move on to another driver here. It's going to be Jose Castellanos for Stryker Motorsports, our old fellow team, Dean. His best finish so far is third place. He's tied for 10th place in the standings. But again, man, you get yourself into these playoffs, and it's like any other sport. You can make a run, and you can get yourself to the final dance. And you got to watch out for Jose Castellanos.
Yeah, man, and I definitely think he's contended for second best beard in Speed Racing Network behind myself. But when we go back and look just a little further here, in 11th place, you're going to have Josh Mueller. Now, Josh drives the number 26 truck. He's here for Tank Racing. He's had 6 place finishes 2 different times, but he's had 6 top 10s this season, Jake. So another very, very consistent driver.
Oh, no doubt. That's almost half the regular season. So great things for him. And another guy, someone we had one time up in the booth here at Bristol for the Xfinity race is going to be Brandon Domain for Stryker Motorsports, that 20 truck. Again, he's finished third twice, Dean. So he knows how to be up front in these things. And you just never know. Him and his teammate Jose Castellanos, we talked about going on a run. These two can put in the time and effort. They're a little further down the list than you might want to feel comfortable with. But again, man, you can do it. You just got to be patient, especially here tonight at Talladega.
Yeah, Jake, and with Brandon, he's had 7 top 10s this season. And so very, very consistent. And another driver that's had 7 top 10s is actually our next driver here on the list, which is Jack Johnson for Jonathan Byer Racing. Once again, he's had 2 6th-place finishes as his best, but Jake, 7 top 10s, man. I mean, as you get to the end of the season, those top 10s got to start turning into top 5s and podiums if you want to be towards the top. So like I said, right now, no bonus points. He's down there in 13th, but looking, you've hit the reset switch, and he's ready to start again over, so to speak.
Oh, he definitely is, and that's the thing about it. The points reset. Your confidence can reset. Everything can reset for you as you move through these playoffs. And again, someone that has a chance to get themselves into the second round. And at that point, man, with the schedule for the second round, you just never know. It's going to be that 92 car of Robert Yost. His best finish is only 9th, but hey, that's all right because you're not really racing the entire field. You're just racing these guys that are all around you. And I mean, at the end of the day, Dean, he's got an average finish of 18th, and that can get you through. Consistency is key, and Robert Yost can put that on together.
Absolutely, Jake. And rounding it out, our last driver here in the playoffs themselves. When we go down here, look, and keep in mind these last few drivers here are tied. It's going to be Robert Yost. Like I said, he's the last one there. He's in that 92 truck. He's had a best finish of 9th. So, Jake, like I said, I mean, this makes up our entire list here from 1st all the way down to 15th. And like I said a minute ago, the season's been reset. It's time to start all over again, just for a much shorter period than those first 13 weeks.
And here you go. We're going to recap it again. This is going to be the playoff standings. You see Cole Martin, that 85 truck for Bronco Motorsports leading this thing. He's already got a 9-point buffer to second place Corey Saucier with all those bonus points. And, you look at sixth place, Byron McDonald's 23 points behind him already. So if Cole Martin can get himself through this race without having any trouble, finishing on the lead lap, doesn't have to win this thing. If he can get a top 10, man, that is going to really almost secure him into the next round. It's just you got that much, that many points above the rest of the field. It's really hard to make up that, and especially with how good Cole Martin has been, on 1.5 and short tracks, Dean. And here we are, man. This top 12, I'll let you start it off.
Yeah, Jake. So up front, you got Brad Youngman there in the 93, Bobby Anderson there in the 18. Brian Crocker, haven't seen him. I haven't really seen him running too much here in the last few weeks. Going to be in third. Michael Madden in fourth. Brandon Domain for Stryker Motorsports in fifth. Walt Lipicki for Tank Racing in sixth. Cody Riggs in seventh for Rev Racing. Corey Saucier for R&D Motorsports in eighth. Doc Holliday is our season-long independent. They're qualifying ninth. Jeremy Duncan in 10th for Tank Racing. Cole Martin for Bronco Motorsports back in 11th. And James Kerr for Jonathan Byer Racing rounding out the top 12, Jake. So you kind of see a little mix here. I mean, this is the fun part about Talladega is the sheer uncertainty from the drop of the green flag to the drop of the checkered.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And you saw these guys with their names in green. Those are going to be your playoff drivers. So any name you see running across the top of the scene or top of the screen, those guys are in the playoffs. So, if you got a playoff driver you want to keep your eye out for, just look up for the green, and, those are going to be the ones to watch outside of the race. It's kind of a race within the race. So we'll be watching that. Just going to give you that heads up. But, Dean, let's go ahead and bring our pit reporter up here for the first time. Daniel Bowler, man, what are you looking for in this race? If you're one of these playoff drivers, how are you attacking this race?
Man, I think there's a couple different strategies you can try to play tonight. You're going to see some of those guys that tend to have the mindset like myself where you want to be out front and lead every one of these laps and, stay out of trouble that way. But you're also going to have those drivers that try to stay in the back and, avoid all those early accidents and be around at the end. Looking down through this leaderboard now, I was actually, just before you came to me there, I was trying to look and see how many of our playoff drivers decided to not qualify, and I believe there was four or five of them that decided not to even post a qualifying lap. So definitely going to be a handful of them that are wanting to ride around the back here early on, it looks like.
Well, Daniel, down there on pit road, do you have any earthly idea right now how far these drivers can go on fuel by any chance?
I think what we're being told with the whole 70% fuel load that we run in this league is somewhere around 22 laps. So I would say we'll start to expect some pit stops when we get to anywhere from 20 to 25 laps, depending on cautions.
Man, I just want to jump in here. Some breaking news. Jose Castellanos just fell through the race. That's not what you want to see if you're one of these playoff drivers.
No, definitely not the way you want to start the playoffs here, Jake. Hopefully he can get that thing fired up, get it out on track, and hopefully not lose too awful much time here before the start of this race. Jake, we ask the question each and every week, and I know with Talladega it's completely uncertain, but who do you have tonight as your winner? And Daniel Bowler, I'll let you pick as well before I make my pick.
Alrighty, well, if you're going to let me go first, man, I'm thinking back to the last plate race we went to, which was Daytona Superspeedway. That 3-truck, man, was repping the 3, doing his thing at Daytona. I'm going to be going with that Corey Saucier machine for R&D Motorsports.
Good pick there, but I think I'm going to go back. We haven't seen him up there in victory lane, but we've certainly seen him in the top 5 for a number of races this season. I'm going to go with the 15 of Michael Madden.
Well, I'll tell you guys what. I'm going to take that surprise pick just because, it's always fun to go up here, but if I call out a surprise winner and he pulls it off, I'm going to look like an absolute hero. I'm taking the Sunday night co-broadcaster and Byron McDonald back in 15th this evening.
Alrighty, boys. You see that Chevy Silverado pace truck pull underneath the yellow flag. That means one thing. We're going to get him off the track. It's going to get into the hands of the 93 truck of Brad Youngman. He's going to wait because the start-finish line is past the pit exit, so it's going to be a long creeping haul here. We're going to wait for Brad to get on that loud pedal, and we're going to get this thing under green. You see Michael Mann already on the bumper of the 18, and Brad Youngman on that gas pedal. We are green flag racing here at Talladega Superspeedway.
got to get through these gears here at Talladega Superspeedway. You start in second, and with these restrictor plates, it's going to take you a long time to truly get up to speed here. Right now, they're probably in third gear, getting ready to switch to fourth as they work their way through turns 1 and 2. 2 by 2 for 4 or 5 rows. Everybody just kind of minding their P's and Q's right now here, Jake, as we begin to already see strategy play out on turn number 1.
And they're down the Talladega gang backstretch here. It's going to be Bobby Anderson in front of Michael Madden. Those two made it work on the outside. These two playoff drivers. You saw Madden already on the bumper before they got the green flag. It's time to go for these two guys. They've set the plan out to be up front. That 18 truck looking to come off turn 4, lead that first lap.
1 lap led was all that it took for Bobby Anderson to get into the playoffs last week at Richmond. He's going to come around this week and lead the very first lap here at Talladega Superspeedway. Chalk 1 extra bonus point up there to the 18.
Yeah, he almost got himself turned there. Open the door for Michael Madden. Michael wasn't trying to pass, but I think Bobby just kind of opened the door a little. Almost got himself spun. That's not what you want to do. You got to be aware of that. And these two are going to still be comfortable. It looks like the first 5 trucks, though, are single file, and then it's just kind of where the here they go, big wreck. Oh, no yellow, though. Byron McDonald, Dean, you're surprised. Oh, another wreck. Andrew Harris around. No yellow, though. That's the thing with this big, the 81 of Michael York. I apologize. But that's the thing, man, with the big backstretch apron, you can get spun out, and there's no yellow flag, and, man, you're going to lose the draft.
Yeah, Jake, for those drivers right now, they're hoping more than anything to be able to go through, either get a quick caution or hopefully not fall too much out of the draft there. That's the dangerous part when it comes to these plate tracks. You get nose to tail, you get that bump draft equation, and sometimes with it, these trucks will get just a little squirrely. Not sure what happened there to Byron McDonald and Michael York, but near disaster in front of the whole field, and those two drivers are going to be playing catch-up here for the rest of the night, Jake.
Yeah, they definitely are. Now we're 2 wide for the lead. You see these trucks with the blue banners on the front windshield as well as their rear spoilers are blue. That's going to designate who our playoff drivers are. So if you see that and go, how come there's only a handful of trucks with that? That's what that is, the playoff banner for those drivers. And right now we got 3 of them up front. Michael Mann is taking the lead from the help from that 3 truck of Corey Saucier. So Daniel Bowden and I so far looking good for our picks. But hey, buddy, we're only in lap 3, Dean.
Oh, yeah, Jake. Anything can happen here at Talladega. And as you look at the ticker up at the top of the screen, you'll notice several drivers have dropped very far back, 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds. And these guys are probably just falling back right now here thinking, hey, it's going to get a little antsy up front. Let's just fall back here for my own little pack. We know that we can carry some speed with these guys 2 wide in front of us, and they're just sitting back here trying to go through and say, hey, let's stay out of it. But, Jake, when you look, that's actually the entire Jonathan Byer Racing team as we get a little bit of 3 wide action up towards the front of the field.
Yeah, 3 wide they are, and the 15 is getting a big shove from that 3 truck of Corey Saucier. And here we go. This is what it's all about, just timing these runs, trying to get yourself, clear the outside to jump up in front, kind of like we see Cole Martin here. But he's got no help from behind. That 79 truck's just too far back as he's going to try to clear himself in front of Mike Lewis there. Mike Lewis is going to be on the apron. That's always a scary sight. You never know how uneasy the truck can get, and all of a sudden you get really, really loose in front of the pack, and that's going to cause craziness. But they sorted it out as we head down into 1 and 2. Again, Michael Mann in charge of this race so far for Rev Racing. But Dean, man, I want to point something out that Daniel Bowler said. He was saying these guys could go 22 laps on fuel, but if you're, at the back of this front pack, you can save a lot of fuel, and that would change this race from a 2-stop race for you to only having to pit 1 if you are able to save that much fuel by riding around in the draft.
Yeah, Jake, and I don't exactly know what the fuel savings could be here for these guys. I find it hard to believe that it could be 3 laps worth here at Talladega, but I have seen stranger things on a racetrack, Homestead. But when it comes down to it, these guys are all out here just trying to do their best. And I tell you what, right now, between last week at Richmond, we saw a lot of green flag racing, and I think it's finally come to the point of this season, Jake, where with these drivers, they know what's at stake. They've had an entire 3 months to race around each other, and I think now they're starting to get a little bit more comfortable as you begin to see that second lane trouble down the backstretch.
Oh no!
Bobby Anderson and Cole Martin involved for sure there, guys, that I saw.
And no yellow yet, though.
No yellow, Jake. That Oh, Jake,
I mean, we
that's
got
not good.
trucks
That's
out.
what happens when you go through and you begin to. You have these wrecks, and yellow's out now, Jake. Yellow's out now. Jake, I'm not entirely certain here if maybe there was.
Cole Martin just blew up, boys. What? Our playoff. One of the favorites for it, blown up. And look, thankfully that's his teammate right there in the 86 truck. Gonna hopefully be able to push him back to the pits, man. Because if he's blown up, truck looked to have some power, so hopefully it doesn't pop just yet. But man, I mean, that was some action right there down the back stretch.
Yeah, Jake, that definitely was here. We're going to take a look here with the Sandwich Man Racing Sports Memorabilia Rec Replay. Looks like Bobby Anderson kind of moved up to the second lane. I'm not certain if maybe there was a little bit of draft or what it may have been. Kind of looked like it sucked it around. I couldn't really tell from that angle. Let's see here from behind.
Oh,
net
man,
code, Jake.
little net code.
Yeah, it looks like...
It would have been
like
3
Cole,
wide, too, man.
Yeah, it looks like Cole moved
Mike
down
Lewis,
just a little bit.
hard hit
to
to that inside wall.
Yeah, Jake, looks like Cole Martin moved down to get a little bit of a side draft, and in the process of doing so, just some internet issues there, kind of moved these trucks around and threw them at an angle that they just weren't quite happy with. But Jake, you mentioned at the top of the show, and we didn't really touch on it here. What a hard hit from Mike Lewis! Oh my goodness! But Jake, we got fast repairs. These guys, if they can make it back around to the pits, they can reset, get all the damage fixed up on these trucks, and send them back out there to go at it again.
Oh, man, and then you see the carnage here as we're rewatching all these different angles of the wreck. And he almost made it through, and then it was him and his teammate making contact here that really sent it, even worse. Right here is where it's going to happen, and that's where Cole Martin's just getting hit from everyone spinning like a top. And, I mean, man, those Jonathan Byer trucks, they had to miss that wreck, being that far off the pack. And that's the advantage you get, man, is being able to check up, slam on those brakes, and just come to a screeching halt and miss it.
Well, Jake, I'll tell you here what's going to be even more interesting to watch. You got every single driver down here on pit road, and it makes more than enough sense. Daniel Bowdler, our pit reporter, had mentioned you can go about 22 laps on a tank of fuel. And if you go through right now and you run 22 laps, it's going to put you at lap 30, which will give you exactly 21 laps to the end of this race if you do not go in and take green-white checkers. So if this race were to go green from now until the end, Jake, one pit stop is going to get you to the checkered flag.
And it definitely is. And the 15 truck, the 224 Cody Riggs, those guys took fuel only, so no tires for them to keep themselves up front in the first and second spot. The 224 though, it's got some damage on the right side of that truck, so that's something to keep an eye out, especially here at a super speedway with how aero dependent these trucks are. But again, Dean, with that fuel, man, you got to remember, if you're that first guy out in the lead, you're cutting the hole into the air. You're using more fuel than everybody. So if you're Michael Madden, you want to be in control of this race, you got to be careful of that and thinking about it at all times, because you do not want this thing to, if it does go green all the way, be running out with 2 laps to go, 3 laps to go and having to come down. You burn that much more fuel.
Yeah, Jake, this is one of the few tracks between here and Daytona, these restrictor plate tracks, and that you don't want to lead the most laps. You don't really care. We've got a 50-lap race here tonight, and if it were up to me, and I'd say probably every other driver in this race, you don't care about leading any of the first 49. You want that last one, and that is it.
Yeah, you definitely do. It's the risk you pay to be up front leading one of these things, especially towards the end of the race, or even like we saw there, all these front runners got taken out in that accident. Guys start making moves, they want to get to the front. They don't want to, ride around for 50 laps. 2, 3 wide, maybe even 4 wide starts happening. And, a big track like Talladega starts to narrow up when you're going 3 or 4 wide.
Yeah, Jake, it's a very, very fun track. It's a fun place to race. It's a crazy place to race, I think, more than anything. And when you've got a place like Talladega, when something, you just saw there, the one little wiggle, one piece of net code, and you've got a quarter of the field who's involved in a wreck. And, if you're any of those guys that used a fast repair, you go through and you say, okay, I've still got one in the bank. That's a problem, Jake. You've only got one in the bank, and you're a fifth of the way through this race. So, right now, these guys have got to get these nerves shaken off here. They've got to get back out here, get these laps turned. If you're someone like at the very beginning of the race between Byron McDonald and Michael York, if you didn't have your truck completely obliterated, very, very happy to see that yellow. But at the same time, you still know what you've got to race through here for these final 40-some laps.
Exactly, Dean. I just want to point out one thing that we talked about, under the pace lap. Jose Castellanos has rejoined the race, but he's 8 laps down. So, if you're Jose, if you're a fan of his, you're watching this race, you'll want a ton of yellows. That way you can start getting the lucky dog, wave around if need be, start getting these laps back because, it's a short race. It is 50 laps, but, if it's a lot of green flag racing and you're that Ford truck, it's going to take a lot of work. And, wouldn't it be remarkable to see something like that?
Yeah, I think if you're Jose Castellanos right now being that many laps down, Jake, the biggest thing that you're hoping for, as much as you want to see those cautions, you know how unrealistic it's going to be to get that many before the end of the race. All you want to see, man, is those drivers with the blue on them. You want to see them wreck out left and right. That's the only thing you want to see. You just want to go out there and beat those guys. And like I said, who knows, Jake? We've seen wilder things happen here with speed racing network. But right now, that pace truck is down below the yellow line, and Michael Madden's going to creep down here through the tri-oval. The start-finish line not here in the tri-oval like it is at Daytona, but just a little further past on that short chute.
And that's the thing. It's at the exit of pits, but the leader can go whenever. But you go too early, and it gives these guys behind you too big of a run, and we're going to see Michael Madden already on that loud pedal trying to get down in front of his teammate, Cody Riggs. That way, he can feel a little bit more comfortable with the guy pushing him from behind. Having your teammate is a huge advantage. You don't have to worry about someone peeking their nose to your inside or anything like that. So it's going to be interesting to see if they're able to stay 1-2. But I tell you, man, Andrew Harris in that 87 truck is looking to change that up with a big run on the outside with, I believe that's 75 of Kyle Wimble.
As I begin to make the comment, Jake, that they were looked like everybody was about to fall single file, like you said, up there on the outside, James Kerr and Andrew Harris kind of jump out of line. Now, the problem they've got right now, they don't have a lot of energy up there, and James Kerr's having to do a lot of pushing on the back bumper of that 87. The grills here of the trucks are not actually where you see the emblems for the manufacturers as you would see on a production vehicle, but right below, if you look at that 87 truck on the outside where it says Silverado on the front, that grill opening is right below there, and it's the same on all these trucks. So you've got to get some air sooner or later to the front of these vehicles or they will overheat.
They're getting really, really tight here for this for the lead, man. Now you got 2 Bronco Motorsports trucks on the outside. Andrew Harris and Cole Martin, the 2 playoff drivers from that team, trying to make a run to the front. These 2 are going to get locked up together with their bumpers. They're gaining ground on the outside for only being 2 trucks. But again, Dean, it's how long until Cole overheats and you see a block thrown by Michael Mann as they head into 3.
Too early to be throwing those kind of blocks, in my opinion, Jake. I mean, at day's end, it may be one of those things where it winds up playing out. You see it all the time on Sundays with drivers going through trying to break momentum, and it may very well work out here in Michael Madden's favor. But you've got to know what your restrictions are. You've got to know when you can and when you can't throw those blocks. And right now, like I said, I think it's just a little too early. But you come down to 3-4 laps to go. That is a fair game move, in my opinion.
Yeah, guys, this draft package with these trucks, they don't necessarily promote that block. Like you're talking about, what we're going to be seeing on Sunday a lot more.
Oh, we see the block again. Oh, Cole Martin.
Down the back stretch again. Big wreck. Here we go, Jake.
Several playoff drivers involved.
Corey Saucier, Cole Martin
Corey Martin involved. See, and that's the thing, man. You throw the block, and they went to the outside, and I mean, it's going to be carnage behind him again. We got Cole Martin and Corey Saucier involved in another wreck. You hope Corey can get that truck refired and rolling, because if he's got a
he had to tow, Jake. He had to go to the garage here, buddy. Yeah, Jake, he's probably going to lose a lap or 2, and that's your Sandwich Man Racing Sports Memorabilia Wreck Replay, our first one of the night.
We're going to see it here. This all started beforehand because the block was thrown to the outside, and Cole Martin, I think, did a really great job there locking that truck down. Didn't hit the inside wall, so I don't think he has much damage except for maybe a little damage on the left door here. You know, it could have been way worse for the 85, but man, for that 3 truck, it is not what you want to see. Oh, he's going to have some front end, but honestly, it kind of looked like he net coded. Doesn't have too much front end damage.
What a save. That is an onboard worth watching there, Jake, because that is just crazy. I mean, like you said, you see Corey Saucier get turned down the backstretch here, and it's just carnage behind him, man. And all that started, you know, just like we mentioned there, Michael Madden trying to go up and throw that block. And when he did, it kind of forced Andrew Harris, you know, he kind of drove him up to the wall a little bit. And when he drove him up to the wall, he touched it just a hair. And when he did, Cole Martin got into the back of him, woed up. And then Cole goes spinning around off the nose of the 79 truck there. So, I mean, that's, you know, that's just that accordion effect that you see here at Talladega. And that's why sometimes it's a little too early to throw that block. Now, I will give Michael Madden this. He didn't drive all the way up to the outside wall. He kind of let Andrew Harris pick his lane there. And, you know, whether it be, what a save by Cole Martin, whether it just be, you know, the angle he took off the corner, what it may be, you know, Harris gets into the wall and carnage ensues behind him.
Yeah, definitely, Dean. And, you know, that's the thing right here is see the 71 of Travis Trevelyan rocking a new paint scheme, but unfortunately going to be spinning to the inside wall. You know, over the radio chat in the race, you know, the driver of that 3 truck was pretty upset about the block and saying, why are we blocking on lap 12? And, you know, like you said, I kind of got to agree. You know, I understand you want the command of the race, but you're not doing yourself any favors later on in the race by blocking on lap 12. It's 50 laps, and you know, it's just you just never know how these drivers are going to leave you out to dry later on in the race.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, Jake, you know, this package, it just tends to, you know, it doesn't even really slow the guy with the run down. It almost just seems like somebody in front of you slams on the brakes and just causes a big stack up.
Yeah, I don't have too awful much experience, Daniel, with this package that they're running here this evening. You know, I've had a little bit of practice here and there on a couple different plate races since iRacing had done their recent updates. So you said more than anything, it really doesn't stall out the run. Is that correct?
Yeah, it doesn't really stall that guy behind out. If anything, it almost just gives him more of a draft to get a bigger run even than what they got. And when that guy pulls up in front of you, you know, the speed difference is so massive. If they don't pull up in front of you, you know, with a good amount of time for you to be able to react, you have nowhere to go but either run them over or slam on the brakes and get run over yourself.
Absolutely, and that's the thing with Dega. You just don't know where to go sometimes, and that's why you see these big wrecks. And you know, we've seen 2 of them here early on in this show.
Yeah, and you know, guys, I mean, here's the thing: a lot of racing to go. You know, want to go ahead and stress here the fact of, hey, there's 35 laps, 37 laps getting ready to be here to go at Talladega. That's a long way around. I mean, you're sitting here pulling under green flag. You're pulling a little under a minute. You know, a few seconds under a minute per lap getting around here. So a lot of racing left to go. And Jake, to your point that you had mentioned when the 15 of Michael Madden kind of moved up there and threw that block, all the other drivers are going to notice that at the end of the race. You know, the whole time that they're running out here, there's alliances being formed, and when the white flag comes out, that alliance is out the window. You know, it's every man for himself at that point. But for right now, if you're Michael Madden, you kind of have to wonder, did he go through and put himself in a situation where some of these other drivers look to maybe hang him out a little bit later on?
Yeah, you know, that's the thing is with the plate racing, guys have a good memory of that. You know, someone throws a block on you like that early on. You know, do you throw that on him later on in the run or in the race? If he throws it, you know, if Madden's leading this thing at the end of the race, do you leave him out to dry, knowing he's been blocking as well? So if you're not on the same team and you're competing against him in these playoffs, you know, those points could really come down to it as we finish this round of 3 races.
Yeah, Jake, and I tell you what, we're going to go here actually to one of our previous pit reporters who somehow manages to keep creeping up into this broadcast. Sean Griffith, this is Dean Brummett. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good, man. The pest control is not good enough up here to keep me away. So, man, I've got a great stat for you here. So, we're playing this little fantasy game here with all the drivers, where they get to pick the best drivers in all 3 leagues, and they get points and that sort of thing. Did you know that over 90% of the picks for this race were either Corey Saucier or Cole Martin?
Well, that's pretty impressive, Sean. Didn't know that stat. And right now, those guys who made those bets, they're not real happy. Cole unfortunately was just in the wrong place at the wrong time twice, and Corey kind of the same thing. But that's why we have the fast repairs, Sean, so that way we can see how this thing plays out. And, up front, this pace truck's getting ready to pull off again here. This time, Brian Crocker in the 86 for Bronco Motorsports is going to have the reins, with Walt Lepicki to his outside, Jason Crackey behind him, and Michael Madden there in 4th. They're going to creep down this long front straightaway, waiting. And here in just a second, Brian Crocker is going to get on the gas pedal. They kind of stack up a bit on the outside here, Jake, and Crocker moves a little further out front than he'd like to, I believe.
Yeah, and that's going to let Walt Lepicki get to the inside in front of Jason Crackey. And you saw the really big jump by Brian Crocker, so he's going to get big run coming from behind on him. And you see Crackey getting to the rear bumper of Walt Lepicki. And honestly, though, you turn this camera around, obviously we don't know if that can happen, but the pack is really dissipated. Single file all the way back down into end of turn 2. So that's just how far these guys are getting themselves spread out. They don't want any more chaos happening to them, especially if you're one of these playoff drivers as they head into 3.
Jake, that was absolutely crazy. While Brian Crocker got out front and didn't really have any help, Michael Madden was able to get a big draft off those couple guys in front of him. He moved to the outside and just carried so much more forward momentum. He was pretty much able to drive to the front by himself, but out here on the outside, Jake, we're going to have a new leader when we hit the line this time by. Looks like here that's going to be Brandon Domain in the 20 for Stryker Motorsports. He led that time by.
Yeah, he's rocking a new paint scheme. I wasn't too sure who that was. It's really hard to read that number, but the 17 truck on his outside is going to be Cody Madden. So Michael's got his brother up here. Kind of makes you wonder, these two guys late on in the race. Does Cody kind of go with his brother, or does he just want to go for the win himself? He's not in the playoffs, but there's nothing better than spoiling the playoff drivers and grabbing that win, especially your first one on the year.
2 by 2 by 2 here, Jake, into turn 3 at Talladega, and looks like Michael Madden's going to want to try to jump up here into this outside lane. We talked a little bit earlier about trying to make sure that you had the fuel conservation as much as you can, but Michael Madden, he is hearing absolutely none of it as he moves up in front of his brother Cody Madden, moves up in front, gets that push to the lead. Now he's going to drop back down. Michael York's going to fall out here to the 3rd lane. Looks like he's going to get left out to dry. Yeah, he's going to get left out to dry here, Jake. Those 2 lanes below him. He tried to form a 3rd lane. Everybody behind him has absolutely none of it. So Michael York, right now, if you're him, you got to try to find that hole and get back down. And Jake, looking at it, it's not coming anytime soon.
No, not at all. You see the 24 truck of Taylor Smith dropping out, bailing out. Doesn't want to be up here in the chaos up front. I want to touch on one of our playoff drivers. One of those guys that Sean was talking about. 90% of our fantasy picks have taken. Corey Saucier, I believe, took his toe, and unfortunately, I think he did not have his fast repair clicked because he's been sitting in his pit lane for an extended amount of time, longer than what a normal tow time would be. So that 3 truck, man, that is not how you want to get this thing started off at the start of the playoffs.
Jake, our first incident is right up front here. Michael York got hung up again, but right there, Byron McDonald, my pick for the race. Him and Michael had come together earlier in the evening, and they were the first 2 trucks past the line that time by. So, Jake, it's getting a little dicey right now. These guys said, we don't really care too awful much about going through and riding around. We want up front time as Byron McDonald, our Sunday night co-broadcaster, leads this field around here.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right, is with being up front, you feel like you're in control, but all of a sudden, trucks come flying by on your outside if they get a good run, and then you go from either being 1st or 2nd on that inside line to, being 5th, 6th, maybe 7th, and then you're at the mercy of the field in front of you, because, if they wreck in front of you, man, you can avoid it, but, I mean, you just never know when Talladega Superspeedway is going to jump out at you and bite you, so to speak. And next thing you know, you're getting wrecked again. And hopefully, though, your bank of faster pairs, still has something left in it.
Jake, can I tell you right now what the biggest thing here right now is, you see these guys nose to tail. It is so hard to see what's happening in front of you. I'd love to take a look at one of these onboards here, maybe Michael Madden, the way that he is tucked up underneath that truck in front of him. And you just can't see anything in front of you here. Oh, a little contact up front. Great save by Michael York. I'm not sure what happened there, but awesome save.
And that's not what you want to have happen, especially at the front of the pack. Because if those first two trucks start spinning, man, there's, it's hard missing for the rest of these guys, especially when you're up against one another's bumpers like that. It happens fast in front of you, Dean, as we head into turn 1, and we're already on lap 21, so this thing's starting to click off kind of quick.
And Jake, you look up there on that outside lane, while you have the 81 with a little bit of fender damage, you've got 3 Bronco Motorsports trucks. So you've got your teammates up there that are going to push you, but you've got to know if you're slower than your teammates, you can't hold them up as you see a big shove coming from behind. We have a saying here on these plate tracks, you don't push the pusher. And basically what that means is you don't want to push the guy in front of you if he's pushing a guy in front of him.
Oh, man, Michael Madden
getting
on the
squirrely
outside.
here. Yeah, Jake, Michael Madden up there on the outside. He's in that left out to dry position. Michael York trying to lead this lap this time by. He's going to have to fight John Doc Holliday, but he's got 2 of his teammates right behind him. Holliday's going to make another run to the inside. It looks like this time by... Oh, I couldn't tell. York got him. York got him by 9 1/1000ths of a second that time. So, I tell you, up there on that very outside lane, I'm actually surprised to see Madden holding as tough as he is as he moves down into that little hole behind those Bronco trucks. So, Jake, up front, these guys are just battling left and right. And some of these guys, you can see them drop below this yellow line. They're just a little antsy. They say, you know what? We don't like what we see. We want out of here.
Man, Michael Madden making it 3 wide everywhere. The hole was open in the middle. He's going to take it. Clear Doc Holliday on the inside. You see these 2 Bronco trucks swerve down the track to get in front of them. This is pretty crazy, Dean.
Jake, I tell you what, I have never been so happy to lie about anything in my life, telling you that last week was going to be my last week in the booth. Like I said, some extenuating life circumstances, but man, I'm kind of glad that they happened just so I can sit here and watch this one with you, man.
Oh, it's been a blast, and it always is, And you put us in the booth here at Talladega, and what better time could we be having? But I tell you what. It's 2x2 for a little bit here behind 4th place, and for me personally, Dean, I always like to be riding around on the inside line. If things start in front of us, it's easy out. You get to slam on the brakes, hang a left, and 90% of the time you're gonna miss it. So riding up on that wall 3 wide like we saw Michael Madden doing, if it's him or anyone else, it's you put yourself kind of in a squeeze with not much room to work with.
Yeah, and right there, we kind of answered our own question a little bit earlier, Jake. Michael Madden tried to jump up in front of that high line momentum coming from John Doc Holliday, and he had none of it. He took it all the way to the wall and leaves Madden there in the middle just to kind of fall back. Now, fortunately, the line looks like it's going to move down in front of him just a little bit, but it definitely appears as though right now Michael Madden, while he's trying to make the moves himself, you need some teamwork to work with, and right now it just does not seem like anybody wants on the bumper, front or back of that 15 truck. As you see, Travis
there he goes, making it 3 wide again. He's going to clear the 81. Doc Holliday clears him. I hear you about Travis Trevelyan having a great run today. I feel like the last few weeks he's just had bad luck. He's fell through, connection-wise in a race. So good to see the 71 up front. But I tell you what, Michael Madden is just bobbing and weaving through this field trying to get back up front.
Yeah, Jake, and what's crazy about it is, like I said, even when the momentum kind of stalls on him, he's managed to find holes. And I tell you what, I've got an update from our pit reporter, Daniel Bowdler. Daniel, what's going on with the fuel situation down there?
Yeah, Dean, we're looking at about 4 laps now, 3 laps to the opening of our fuel window here. So, be interesting to see how many of these guys decide to come down and get that pit stop done right away, or if they're going to wait and run this out for as many laps as they can.
And Daniel, I just want to ask you, obviously you race in our Xfinity Series League. If you were in this thing right now, would you go right away when the window opens, or would you wait a little bit and kind of give yourself a little bumper for some green-white checkers?
I don't know. I think it would kind of depend on where you're at. If you're up front like these guys are, sometimes track position can be everything here. So, you don't want to try to get down pit road unless you have a really good opportunity. And being up front, it might be a little risky to just pull down in front of everybody and get everybody all stirred up. But those guys that are back there in the pack, just riding around trying to avoid everything, if they could get hooked up together and come down pit road at the same time and then get back out there and just start clicking off some solid laps single file, they're going to run faster than these guys up front and could very well make up some ground in the end game if this thing stays green.
Absolutely, and always great reporting from our pit reporters here this week, Daniel Bowdler. Daniel, one thing that I wanted to touch on here, and I didn't really realize it until just now. You got yourself, myself, and Jake Rowell up here in the in this broadcast. I managed to pull off a pretty lucky win at Richmond this week, so I've secured the third place win of all-time wins in Speed Racing Network. So yourself, myself, and Jake, you've got the winningest three drivers here in the league right here.
I mean, I don't even know what to say about that, Dean. I didn't even think you were going to win this season, but to see your name come across the line first, buddy, I almost thought I was sleeping, having a dream.
Well, it definitely was like. It was like a dream come true there, Jake, and it was nice to be able to try and punch that win ticket here, so that way I could try and put my name in for that all-star race here that we've got with Speed Racing Network.
Oh, I know, it's all love, buddy. I'm just giving you a hard time. But yeah, it's crazy, but we're trying to see if one of these guys can kind of close that gap. We've had a lot of multiple winners this season. Obviously, first being Michael Mann, he's already got 2 wins on the year, and I mean, you might be saying, no one's really going with him, but I mean, this man is making moves all by himself. You see him back in the front now, and he's really kind of done it without anyone getting up behind him, pushing him.
That's what's been impressive the most, Jake. I mean, at days in, when he's going through and the rest of the field is against you, he's going through and he's not fighting one driver at a time. He's got the whole field that he's trying to virtually throw hands with as they work down this backstretch. One group that I want to kind of touch on, Jake, we saw it earlier in the race, the JBR team, Jonathan Byer Racing. They're sitting back here a little further. I mean, right now, you've got all five of their drivers working down the backstretch. And over the last few laps, I think that they've kind of turned on the jets a little bit, saying, hey, we don't need to lose complete touch with this field. They've gone from about 5.5, 6 seconds to right now about 3.5 seconds behind the field. So they're starting to close up a little bit. They want to be within striking distance for when these pit stops inevitably do happen, but at the same time, they want to stay out of these wrecks if at all possible. You don't want to kill your entire championship playoff week.
No, and definitely you don't. I got to imagine, Dean, those drivers are probably sitting there saying, I want to go fast like Ricky Bobby. And that's the thing, right? When you're further in the pack like that, running off the main group, this is a great time to do it. You're coming towards, the finish, so to speak, right now, because you're going to have to be pitting. So when you're, 5 seconds off the pack, you want to see how long it's going to take you to catch them, if you even can catch them. With however many trucks they have back there. It looks to be about 8 trucks, I'd say. So that's the thing, man. You got to know how fast you can get there, because if you don't do this in the middle of the race, you could sell yourself short and not even be able to make a chance to run for the win up front. So really, really good intel there by Jonathan Byer Racing and some other trucks running with them to be doing this, obviously, with 21 laps to go here at Talladega.
I'll tell you what, guys. You talk about those guys running back there, and we go back to that pit strategy I was talking about earlier. If those guys were to come down pit road now and get their stop out of the way, they could make it to the end of this race. Even if we get some cautions, they can save fuel. So their fuel window is open. If they come down, get their fuel, and go back out and run the same lap times that they're running right now compared to these leaders, if this thing stays green, they have a very good chance of taking the lead that way. But if we catch a caution before these other guys have to pit, they will all have to pit, and Jonathan Byer Racing could stay out and then have the track position going forward for the rest of this race. So, those guys could be thinking about that as I'm saying that. We got somebody queuing up right here saying they're pitting next time. So pit stops are going to start happening.
And I tell you, these are going to be some of the most exciting pit stops under green you're going to see all season. Right now, you're getting ready to go from 180 miles an hour down to about 55, just like you saw an Alabama State Trooper on the side of the road, Jake. So these guys are getting ready. It's about to get dicey. You see them all trying to fight for that low lane because they know it is about time to be hitting those binders to come down. Now, some of these guys may stay out a lap or two, like Daniel had mentioned a little earlier in the race, try and get some extra laps in the tank, so to speak, as we see Taylor Smith fighting on the outside lane with a push from Corey Knight. Poor Corey has just seen so many incidents this season that he was nowhere the cause of. But Jake, right now I'm worried. All sorts of people on pits, but I'm looking right here also. You got Walt Lepicki, looks like Jason Kratky. You got some lap cars right here in front of the leaders.
Oh, this is going to get risky right here with these guys. You hope they run the wall to give these leaders some room. You just don't want that happening with a lap down car, and they do that. So these leaders are going to be able to stay too wide and go to the inside of them as they head off of 2. But, Dean, I tell you what, man, coming on the pit lane.
Oh, Tevin Whitner got so loose there. My goodness, there wasn't any contact or anything. That truck just tried to break out from underneath the driver of the 9, and he did a heck of a job saving that one.
Oh, he's doing it again a little bit, man. You just wonder if maybe that light or low fuel load is making these trucks really, really loose through these corners. But I was going to say, when you get on the pit lane, man, this is where cautions can happen. You get run over, someone from the second lane doesn't really realize it, and all of a sudden self-clears to the inside. And next thing you know, we got a yellow, and we see these 2 trucks. That is not what you want to see here at Talladega. Coming down with, only one dance partner, so to speak. It's going to be really tough to be matching these lap times of a big group like you see up front. But I tell you what, you can lose and you can gain a lot of time here at this track. Any track really, but this one is so crucial because any guys that are really good on getting on the brakes, you start thinking about guys that run really well at road courses. With that heavy brake and down into the pit, it's like hitting your braking zone into a corner on a road course.
Yeah, Jake, and right here, I mean, like I said, just as much brakes as what you have to use. You have to be careful of sliding these tires because, I mean, here's the thing. There's so little tire wear when it comes to Talladega and Daytona. Most of these guys are going to be a fuel-only stop, but at the same time, you don't want to slide the tires on entry because when you hit that flat surface right there, as you see them come by the start-finish line, that flat surface down low is dirty. There's a lot of debris down there, and it can be very easy to pull off the pit road, spin your rear tires, and accidentally spin yourself out like we saw a couple weeks ago at the Martinsville race with the Xfinity drivers.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, and to also point out too, Dean, the ever treacherous turn 1. Pit exit lane, so to speak. You can't come and blend until you get off of turn 2 onto the backstretch here. You got to stay below the yellow line, get past the blue cone before you come up. So when you're on if you don't take tires and you're on old tires, that can be very, very risky for guys trying to dig and get as much time and speed out of it. Getting through the gears down there, it's a little tricky.
Kevin Whitner down below the line.
Oh, blew the pit entrance and,
that's
able to wheel it back in, but that's going to be a black flag. And our leader right now, Michael Mann, the 15 truck, is saying he's pitting right here. Got to be very, very careful when you're the leader, man. You don't want to get run over by someone behind you not coming down. This is going to get really, really crazy, guys. This is almost this whole front pack is going to be pitting at the same time, man.
And you could see out the windshield of Michael Madden, Jake, they were a little hard to see off in the distance, but you had those first group of pitters that were out in front of them by several seconds. You could see the very tail end of one. There's a lot more trucks there. You may see it. Look at this speed.
Guys, we're going to see this entire pack come in here.
Let's watch and see what happens.
It's going to be bad, man. This is going to be hairy. You're going to see trucks gain time, lose time. It's a game of chicken down here, and so far, so good. I think everyone's going to make it nice and tidy. But, man, it makes you wonder, though, how much time could they have lost, coming in as a big group. That, smaller group that's still out there, these 2 trucks here side by side staying out. That's going to be the 92 of Robbie Yost all by himself with the 5 trucks staying out. He's going to lead a lap, going to be the leader, but he's going to be slower once these trucks get organized and back onto the track.
Yeah, Jake, and right now he's getting help from a lap down truck, actually, there in the 5. That's Mike Lewis. He's actually 2 laps down. You saw him take that massive lick earlier in the race and used his fast repair. But, Jake, what I want to see here as we go through these next few laps, you saw that big group of guys get on pit road. You know, now you're going to see them trying to pull off a pit road here. Like we said, it's very dirty down here below the line. They're going to try to get up to speed. You see how spread out that they are, and you just wonder, are you going to see any type of speeding penalties here for these guys or any blend line violations?
You got to be very careful. Michael Mann looks like he's kind of got himself a handful. The 85 and 87 were able to get right back up to him, and a little bit quicker of a run down there. And you see the 87 go. Oh my goodness!
Oh, Taylor Smith
wow.
got super loose. Good job. I couldn't tell if he touched Cole Martin or not, but if he did, Cole was able to save that truck, and these guys are going to keep on here. But this 2-wide racing right here, Jake, this 2x2, you look back behind them probably another 100, 200 yards, and these guys are going to glue right to each other's bumpers, and they're going to carry a lot of speed. So if you're these front few guys, you've got to get single file as quick as you can, because there are runs that are coming, and it's not going to take them long to get there.
No, they're going to be there really, really soon. It's going to almost feel like they're in a different vehicle with how fast they're going to come up behind you, getting the draft from behind. You see Brandon Domain going to make that third lane work on the outside with his teammate Jose Castellanos. A block was thrown there, it seemed, because all of a sudden they got broken apart there. Now they're going to be behind the 24 truck. This is going to get crazy. You see a lot of these playoff drivers now up front, in the front of this field, man. They know it's go time with 14 to go. They don't want to be in the back of the pack anymore.
Yeah, Jake, and like I said, up front here, you're going to have these guys just nose to tail, going to be doing everything that they possibly can. These guys are just going to be sending it everything here as fast as possible. The time for give and take, I still think you've got a little bit before you have to start trying to take everything that you need to here with 13 laps. But as you see these guys begin to form this 2-wide lane, sooner than later, Jake, it's going to become 3-wide, and that's when you're going to get to see how good of drivers we actually have here.
Oh, absolutely. And you see Michael Mann all over the 87 truck. Going to have a lap down truck in front of the leaders here. This is going to get interesting into 3. Makes you wonder if he's going to go up by the wall. Looks like he's kind of moving up, but he's going to keep it low. So these guys need to move up, or they're going to have a roadblock right in front of them. The speed difference is just going to be unreal for these guys right here. Evan Whitner not picking a lane yet. Now he's going to get up to the wall. Awesome move there to get out of the way and let these leaders figure it out on their own as they go through the tri-oval, Dean. Coming to 12 to go, man.
And Jake, I tell you, we got to have a little bit of an experience the other night here at Talladega with some iRacing, an official race. Oh, a little bit of contact there into turn 1 and 2. Looks like Taylor Smith. Looks like that's going to be the 17 of Cody Madden, but they keep it straight, and I do not for the life of me know how. A little more contact there, Jake.
Yeah, 17 does not look to be happy here. We're going to have 2 Bronco Motorsports trucks going to jump to the outside, and they're going to have 3 Bronco Motorsports trucks in the top 4 right now with Andrew Harris, Cole Martin, and their teammate Michael York behind them. I mean, if you're Michael Mann and you see 3 Bronco trucks, man, what do you do? You got no one to go with. They're all going to work with one another, and that's just the thing. None of his teammates are up here able to help him right now.
That's all right, Jake. We've seen Michael Madden all night here be able just to overcome the adversity that's been presented in front of him in terms of, what teams, what drivers are around him. And I don't think anything's going to be any different here as we begin to see that third lane attempt to get formed up there. That's Brandon Domain, it looks like, from Striker Motorsports trying to get that push. And it looks like his teammate, Jose Castellanos, who is several laps down, Jake, but that doesn't mean that man, here we go. Trouble off turn 2. They saved it again, Jake. Jake, they saved it again. You know what? I know it's not a wreck, but if there has ever...
it's going to be a lot of net code, man. It was the 17 truck and the 85 of Cole Martin. There was about a couple feet in between them. That's never what you want to see. We're going to have a pass for the lead, though, off of 4. Cody Madden pushing his brother Michael out front in front of the 87 on the high side. But here we go. The quick replay here, you're going to see the 17 truck hit the apron, and it's all net code to me because you see these trucks go to the inside. And we got big wreck! Michael Mann flipping across the start-finish line. Oh, my word. Oh, he's going to luckily land on all 4, but buddy.
Oh, they're still wrecking down into 1 and 2. Well, I'll tell you what, Jake. We got to see a near Sandwich Man Racing Sports Memorabilia Rec replay, and this time we're going to see an actual Sandwich Man Rec replay. That was, man, I tell you what, I'm out of breath just watching those last few laps.
You ruined it for the viewers at home. You had to see your little replay, Dean. Now you can't see it live, and it was wild ride for Michael Madden flipping down the front.
Michael Madden just blew up, guys, coming out of 2.
And that 15 truck with that motor balloon here, that's going to be interesting, Jake, just to see if he's going to be able to get back around here with Talladega. I mean, he's got a long way to go, but he might be able to carry just enough momentum. No, he just pulled
Martin a heck of a drive, missing that wreck on the inside. He towed. Wow.
Yeah, Jake, I don't know how long of a tow truck ride that's going to be to get back down here to the pits, but I definitely think it's going to put him at least one lap down. But his race is not done here. Yeah, he got up front, Jake, and looks like he just kind of got turned into the right rear by Andrew Harris, and around he goes.
I don't know, buddy. I don't know if I'd call it turning, man. The 87 was there, and we've seen it all night. The aggressiveness in that 15 truck. I mean, you block me once.
Let's see here.
You block me once, he's going to make the move. I mean, he's there. This camera angle isn't going to show it.
I think we're going to have to take an overhead view just to see more than anything, Jake. But, he wants to move down here onto that low line. And when he does,
and the 87 goes to the mid, he's coming up. He's not riding the yellow to me.
Well, around and over the top he goes.
Opinions is all right, Dean. See him come down in front.
Hey, Jake, I was just looking out here in our live chat, and Austin Reedy, he said you used the word aggressiveness a moment ago. He wants you to attempt to spell aggressiveness on the live broadcast.
We'll leave that alone because I know exactly what he's going at, and we're not going to have that on our broadcast. So glad to know Austin Reedy's watching it. You know, he's running a 4-wide Cup League earlier. Glad to have you watching, buddy. But yeah, you can spell it for yourself. We're back here. We're going to have 8 to go. Man, Dean, this is we've seen 2 of our front runners have to use toes and get essentially knocked out of this thing. Going to be finishing way back in the field.
Yeah, Jake, but man, here's the thing. Even with using those toes, I'm not counting them out yet, man. I'm not. I mean, here's the thing. You're going to have probably 6 laps to go when we get to the green. You've still got the opportunity for more wrecks to happen. And the thing is with Michael Madden, he's going to be racing those other guys a lap down. You got James Kerr, Michael Madden, Jeremy Duncan, Tevin Whitner, Mike Lewis, all a lap down. And, all he has to do is be that first truck 1 lap down, see another caution happen up in front of him, gets that lucky dog, and, he may only have 2 laps to do it in that point. But, man, I tell you what, if there's anybody who I would trust to drive through this field to get to the front, it would be him tonight.
I mean, the chance is there for Michael Madden, but we wish we could see this clock of his toe, because that's going to be the telling tale. Because if he's not able to come out of pit lane before this pace truck comes by again, I think getting 2 laps down here, it's going to be tough. You never know, obviously, with some green-white checkers, but you got to make sure you don't get in those next wreck, or in the next wreck, because that's the thing with iRacing, Dean. Like you could be the lucky dog, but you get any sort of contact point, and unfortunately, you don't get it.
Yeah, Jake, and that's the big thing right now. I mean, this pace truck, he's here in the middle of turns 3 and 4, and I'm looking down here on pit road. Michael Madden is still sitting there, so I don't know. I don't know how long he has here to get to pit road. I don't know if he's on pit road, in terms of how many seconds he has. But right now, this pace truck's coming by, Jake, and if he's not rolled off pit road here in about the next 15, 20 seconds, then that might be the end of the night for the 15 driver.
Yeah, and you wonder, Dean, is it the same thing that Corey Saucier might have? Not having that fast repair clicked, and when you tow, even though if you click it when you're sitting in the pits, it's going to assume, you're not using your fast repair and start taking off your required repairs, and it doesn't matter when you click it at that point. Unfortunately, kind of a little silly thing on iRacing, but That's the way she goes sometimes, Dean.
Yeah, Jake, and unfortunately for that 15 driver, he did just go his second lap down, so that's pretty much going to end the night there for the 15. But, Jake, we're so focused on some of these other guys, we didn't even pay attention to what's going on up here up front. Walt Lipicki there in the 10 going to be leading this thing back to the green as we've got one to go before we get that green flag.
Yeah, the 10 truck from Tank Racing, Walt Lipicki having a great run. Able to avoid these wrecks. Qualified 6th, so he's been up front. He's got the speed. He's just got to keep those trucks behind him. We're going to get 6 to go this time by when we get the green flag. So, Walt Lipicki could be getting Tank Racing's, first win on the year.
Jake, I tell you, right now, I'm looking there. I just want to go ahead and go on record as saying the third place driver was my pick of the race, so I'm looking pretty good about it right now. But I am scared about that, Jake, because I look up there in the next few drivers. You got that whole JBR team: Jonathan Byer, Jack Johnson, Josh Mueller. Those guys have played their strategy all night long, and they finally said, you know what? That caution was just what we needed to get back up here a little further and get ready to go chase this thing as we hit that green flag with 6 laps to go.
Yeah, and the 26 is on Tank Racing, but he was, hanging out in the back. And that's the thing, man. You hang out in the back, you get yourself away from the trouble. You don't have to use faster pairs. And here we are. We're going to have 6 laps to go. And some of these guys that we've not talked about because they were just laying back in the weeds, so to speak, ready to pounce on this this field now that there's going to be 6 laps to go. It's I don't think we've seen the last yellow, and I think it's only going to get crazier from here on out to the finish of that checkered flag, Dean.
Yeah, Jake, it's all gas, no brakes at this point in time, which, I mean, hey, really don't use brakes here at Talladega anyway, but, buddy, there is not going to be any giving here. Some of these moves that we saw earlier in the race where people may kind of cut you a little break, let you up, let you down, whatever, it's done now, but like I said, Walt
it's
Lipicki,
out the window. You got that right.
Oh, for sure. Walt Lipicki's up front here, Jake. Pace truck's in, and it's up to him right now to determine when to go. They still haven't received the green flag, and he begins to take off here. Walt
they're
Lipicki
wrecking in the back already.
Oh, we got it. No yellow yet.
We had one truck in the grass.
Oh man, Andrew Harris there. I'm not certain if he missed a shift and may have blown that motor. I'm not certain what happened to the 87, but very, very slow. But up front here, you got the 224 on the outside getting that big push here. That's Cody Riggs. Jonathan Byer giving him a shove as Walt Lipicki tries so hard on the inside with that push from Byron McDonald from behind. Byron pushes Walt down in here into turn number 3, and he's got it clear to the outside if he wants it. But right now, that bottom lane is definitely the place to be here, Jake.
Yeah, it definitely is. And some of this field's kind of gotten
3 wide for the lead. Byron McDonald going for the lead. He's going to leave Lipicki to the middle lane.
Yeah, it's going to be 3 wide. Walt's going to get left out to dry, unfortunately, unless he gets a truck to suck up right behind him and start shoving him. We got trucks on the apron.
Oh, little contact. He drifts up into 30. They saved it, Jake. And Travis Trevelyan moving up front here. He has just slowly and surely just quietly clawed his way to the front. And right now,
a couple Rev Racing trucks, a couple Tank Racing trucks, and then you got a handful of Jonathan Byer trucks up front right now, man. It's going to get crazy. Oh, Byron McDonald, get yourself. You don't want to. Oh, we got a wreck. Oh. Kyle Wimble, 91. Yellow
and
flag.
Yellow is out here, Jake.
Of everybody.
Man, oh man. Great save by the field to avoid, any other damage from wrecking into one another, getting around that 91. He doesn't look to be too tore up right here. That's going to really help. Andrew Harris, though, who kind of got the short end of the stick on that restart. Not too sure what happened there at the restart, but again, man, another Sandwich Man Racing Sports Memorabilia Wreck replay. Make sure you check them out on Shopify. They got excellent die-cast selections, hats, T-shirts, things like that. So go check them out. But we're on board with the 91 of Kyle Wimble from JBR, and kind of all unfolds in front of him. He kind of starts checking up, and the truck behind him is right behind him. You can't really see anything, and gives him one little shot from behind, and it upsets the truck.
Yeah, it looks like that was Jason Kratke there that touched him, Jake, and nothing really that Kratke did wrong. I mean, it all kind of checks up in front of him, and with these trucks, you've really got to hit them exactly square to get any type of benefit. Look at Cody Madden, see it unfold in front of him, go to the outside there. What a move by him. But, he just barely gets into the left side of the rear bumper of the 91, and just that shot, that angle just shifts the weight in that 91 truck, moves him around here, and just kind of loop that 91 right in the perfect lane for a caution. And Jake, it seems like we seem to see it just about every week here in the Truck Series. We're going to be going down here to green, white checker finish, buddy.
Yeah, this is let's go ahead and bring up your pick, Dean. Byron McDonald. Let's get him up here in the booth, buddy.
Byron McDonald, this is Dean Brummett and Jake Rowell up in the Speed Racing Network booth. We are interviewing you for a change. How's it going this evening, buddy?
Asked me about 3 laps. We got caught up in that early caution. Luckily, able to drop to the back and save it here, and we got our teammate here in front, and we're trying to get this win.
Yeah, buddy, we've seen you drive through to the front all night long. In the pre-race, I've actually pulled you as my pick of the race, and of my pick, Daniel Bowdler's pick, and Jake Rowell's pick. You're the one who's up front doing everything, making me look good, man. So I know you weren't able to broadcast Sunday night to get to see my win. So I'm hoping here in just a few laps I'm getting to interview you again with your first win.
I've put you multiple times this year, and you haven't let me down. So I'm trying to repay the favor here. I think that's what it is. So hopefully, me and my teammate here, Cody, gets a good restart here and can bring it home.
Well, buddy, we definitely hope to see it here. It's been fun watching you guys this evening. As you come down here to this green-white checker finish, do you feel like you're going to be going multiple green-white checkers, and do you have the fuel if that were to necessitate there?
I don't know. I'm really just focused on my windshield here, and hopefully everything happens behind me. I got my teammate here to the outside, and we're going to try to work here and hold this front. So we got the fuel to make it, so that's not an issue.
Well, buddy, best of luck to you here. We're going to get you back down here to your team, and like I said, hopefully we'll talk to you here in just a few minutes.
Okay, looking forward to it.
Hey, thank you, buddy. Well, Jake, there you have it. Our second place runner, Byron McDonald here. He's going to be working the teammate options, so it's always nice to have yourself a little bit of help up front.
Oh, it definitely is. It makes things easier. You're able to communicate, obviously, in your Discord channel. You don't have to worry about the guy pulling a move to your outside or sneak into the inside of you. It makes it a little bit easier, but at the same time, man, when you're that second truck pushing your teammate, you see the run come out on the outside, you kind of start to wonder, at what point do I give up on this? And kind of, at the end of the day, it is about you and making your own moves to put yourself in the best position. Especially, when you're Byron McDonald in the playoff, you've seen the bad luck so far from a lot of these playoff drivers getting involved in a lot of wrecks, not up front anymore. It's you got to capitalize on that type of thing. And this is going to be our first green-white checkered of 3 attempts, Dean.
Yeah, Jake, and like you said, it's interesting. It's going to be very interesting to see up here with the 224, of Cody Riggs. He's going to have the outside lane he's going to pick here. Going to be interesting to see what exactly the strategy is. I think if anything, he's going to try to get on the gas super quick, get down in front of Byron. But like you said, Jake, Byron being in the playoffs and Cody not right now. It kind of makes you wonder what their strategy is going to be. Or they, if it gets to the point where it looks like that there's going to be a big wreck on top of them. What are they going to do? Are they going to push out of it, or are they going to stay in the thick of it? I mean, you don't have much time here at all, Jake. 2 laps here at Talladega. I mean, once we hit this green flag, if it stays green, we're going to be throwing a checkered flag in about 2 minutes.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of it, right? You get 2 laps here. The first half to 3/4 of the first lap, you're trying to get up to speed, making sure you hit your shifts. Don't want to lose any momentum. To give up, runs to the outside or inside of you if you mess up a little bit on the exit of these turns. And, it's all about mirror driving at this point. You don't lift. I mean, it's you're kind of at that point, right? You got yourself into the playoffs. This is how you make yourself, able to go deeper in this thing. So, these guys are going to be pushing harder than we've seen. The runs are going to be bigger. The energy on that high side, I think, is where you want to be if you can make it work. 'Cause you just get such a run with these trucks on the high side.
Yeah, Jake, this is going to be a very, very interesting finish. Daytona was a fun race to watch, but with Daytona, 2 wide is pretty much about all you can do. You can make 3 wide work, but you have to have an excellent group of drivers. Before this race is over with in this next 2 laps, Jake, I fully expect to see 3, very possibly 4 wide coming to the checkered. But Jake, like we said, pace truck is off. We're getting ready to settle it here at Talladega. Up front, you got the 224 truck of Cody Riggs. He's going to lead us back to green here. His teammate Byron McDonald on the inside. The green flag hasn't flown yet. Not yet. And he's on the gas. And just like we said, Jake, he's going to move up here, try to get down in front of his teammate Byron.
And away they go. These 2 get single filed up front, and back in the back, they're 3 wide. They're heading into one of these leaders, or single filed out. These front 3. That 4th truck jumps in front of the 10 of Walt Lipicki, and we got a 4-truck train right here with Vincent Cortez in 3rd place, trying to spoil the party for a couple playoff trucks in front.
Jake, and like we said a little bit ago, you've got your teammate there in the 224 right in front of you. Even though he's your teammate, he's not obligated to let you win. Cody Riggs trying to go for his very first win this season as they work into turn 3 and 4 here in Talladega. They're going to hit this turn 4, get down this long front straightaway and work towards this white flag. And trouble in the back.
Wow.
Looks like
Cole Martin
maybe
involved.
Cole Martin back there. I believe, guys, that'll be Cole's 2nd fast repair if he ends up, or if he didn't use it earlier.
Daniel, I don't know if he still has one.
I'm not sure. It's going to depend on if he used that one where he saved it and kind of kept it off the inside wall there or not.
Yeah, we're going to find out right here. He's going to have to bring it down pit lane. He's got smoke blowing out the engine right now, so.
Oh, 91, and Kyle Wimble gets loose.
He got loose at first, saved it, and then kind of just turned down the track, and, Cole's there. And it's going to end the night, I think, for the 85. I think he's used 2 fast repairs, boys.
Man, I tell you what, the roughest part of that there, Jake, besides a playoff driver getting caught in that, Tevin Whitner was in the position for the lucky dog there in that 9 truck, and unfortunately got into the back of Cole Martin at the end of that wreck. So I don't know if he has any fast repairs left, but he will not carry the lucky dog in this caution.
That, Dean, will give the lucky dog to Michael Madden and put him back 1 lap down. If we have another quick caution and he happens to be the lucky dog again, he'll be back on the lead lap for the final green-white checkered.
Well, there you have it from Daniel Bowdler himself. So, Jake, this race just gets a little more interesting and a little more. And right now with Cole Martin, with all that damage on the hood of that truck, if Michael Madden could get 1 more caution flag and get back onto the lead lap, that could be a huge points night for him. We went into it at the top of the show, and one thing I wanted to touch on, Jake, was, what looked like an insurmountable lead that Cole Martin had. Here at Talladega, it's a wild card, and that entire amount could be erased in 1 to 2 wrecks. And sure enough, for Cole Martin, unfortunately, that is exactly what he has experienced.
He's still on pit road, guys.
Yeah, I think he's out of fast repairs, man. Because obviously if he had it, he would have used it and he'd be back out on the track. But that's the thing, though. Having those bonus points, you got to remember he had 26 bonus points. So, even if he only brings home, 5 or 6 points here, you add that with the 26, that's like coming home with 31 points this race. So, that's the beauty of the thing of having those bonus points, and why they pay off. And rightfully so. Cole's had a heck of a year in the regular season, so it's gonna save him, and it's kind of gonna be a wash, even though he's gonna finish poorly here tonight.
Daniel, we get to see you go on track tomorrow night here for Talladega. What are you taking away from this race tonight that you can kind of translate into your own race tomorrow evening?
I think a lot of it's going to be, just conserving your stuff. We're going to have 1 less fast repair than these guys tomorrow night. So, you got to mind your P's and Q's just a little bit more, and, make sure you save your stuff and be around at the end there to pick up as many points as you possibly can. And honestly, I think after tonight, everybody should take note with Corey having that problem about, making sure your fast repair is checked when it needs to be checked and not checked when it doesn't need to be checked, because he could have gotten back out there on track. I believe was only going to use his first fast repair, and instead he's going to finish this race with a DNF and probably finish in the 32nd position.
Well, if you want to hear pure insanity, Daniel, you talk about your one fast repair. Jake, what's a fast repair? What in the world is that? We don't get to those on Sunday nights.
Yeah, I don't know what those are. But that's the beauty of it, right? Being in the Cup Series, it's the realism is there. No fast repairs. You gotta get up on it and ride it here at Talladega on the high banks. I don't even know how to begin to explain how nerve-wracking it will be for all of us playoff drivers, especially with that new package where the side draft comes into play. So it's going to be very, very interesting to watch, and it's going to be a crazy race.
Well, Jake, I don't know if it's too early to go ahead and call it right now or not, but for tomorrow night, I am going to take Daniel Bowdler as my driver for the win tomorrow. So, Daniel, no pressure on you there when we get to Talladega tomorrow.
No, sir, no pressure. I love this place. This is my home, man. I love this track.
Well, just let's make sure more than anything you don't have a Daytona moment. Can you promise me that? That's all I ask for.
I can't promise you the luck, man. I am the worst for when it comes to luck.
Well, if any of you don't know, at Daytona, Daniel Bowdler had some engine issues or internet issues, as they are more commonly known. And me and Jake poked fun at one another about it because that was Jake's pick for the race. And in a 60-lap race, because of the green-white checkers, poor Daniel here finished 66 laps down. So, like I said, hopefully tomorrow night treats you a little nicer there, Driver 6.
Yeah, we hope so.
Well, Jake,
especially, Bowdler, you better be watching this 23 truck and see how Dean's pick does. It's not over yet. 23 truck could be screeching to a halt to the inside wall. And I don't know if I'd want to be Dean's pick going into tomorrow night.
Now, you never know at this place, man. This place will just reach up and grab you at any time.
Well, I'll tell you what's about to reach up and grab is some attention right now. We're going into this thing. Jake, another green-white checker. We're going to have 2 laps. We're going to get the green flag. If the drivers make it back around to the white flag, then that means the next flag will end it, which will be a checkered flag. And unlike in real sanctioned NASCAR events, if we get to the white flag in this race, there will not be another caution. So you think this has been crazy so far in terms of wreck avoidance. Wait till you see what happens when these guys get the white flag.
Keep in mind here, guys, the race for the lucky dog is going to be between the 5 of Mike Lewis and the 15 of Michael Madden in case we get this next caution.
Mike, it's going to be the 91 and the 15 of Michael Madden, actually. Kyle Wimble on the lead, or 1 lap down.
Yep,
well,
guys, my scoring just updated.
Well, green flag plus here. Oh, we've got one car hard in the wall into the back here. I do not know what happened there, but someone hit the wall very, very hard.
That was the 91 of Kyle Wimble.
That almost looked like Jake, maybe like their iRacing software had closed out on them, and sometimes it just kind of sticks.
But hey, up front, Byron McDonald's leading this thing down the backstretch. The 23 for Rev Racing, getting a big push from the 69 of Vincent Cortez, with Jonathan Byer right behind him in 3rd place. So you got a couple teams that are looking for a win here. Obviously, Tank Racing and Jonathan Byer Racing really, really hungry for their first win this season. And Walt Lipicki on the 4th truck on the inside and that 10 truck looking to have another heck of a finish here tonight. It's looking like we're going to make the white flag, but buddy, we got a few more 100 feet to go till we get to that point. And here comes the big run. They're going to go 3 wide. Oh, they're going to.
Oh, there may be 4 wide here, Jake. And now, Byron McDonald on the bottom. You're going to have Jonathan Byer up top. And Vincent Cortez going to move into the lead with a heck of a move. Trouble behind him. Walt Lipicki goes around. We're still green here, Jake.
Oh, my goodness. One truck got stuck in the outside wall. But
Corey.
It's going to be Vincent Cortez up front. These 2 teammates are going to try to get
Byron McDonald.
Big move by Byron McDonald. Going to move up in front of his teammate. Hopefully he can get that big push here, Jake. You don't want to let Vincent Cortez get to your inside. They're going to work their way through 3 and 4.
Outside line's going to have the run.
Outside lane is going to have a ton of momentum here. We're going to head for the checkered flag. Everybody's pushing as hard as they can.
Move right there. Here they go, though.
There they touch. They touch to the line. Byron McDonald wins.
Wow.
Wow.
Have you ever?
Byron McDonald won this race, Jake Rowell.
That was, I'm almost at a loss of words. We had like 5 wrecks on the final lap, it seemed like. Trucks going everywhere.
This isn't even going to be a wreck replay, Jake. This is like a wreck entire lap, but let's just take a look
at
here.
Racing Sports Memorabilia. No yellow wreck lap recap.
This is off of
here you
turns.
go. In 1 and 2,
Walt Lipicki gets turned
hooked.
around.
Oh my gosh! It gives you
Jonathan Byron gets stuck in the wall.
Michael Waltrip at Bristol Motor Speedway live. Right
Corey Knight got stuck a little further down, Jake.
Yeah, added 2, buddy. I mean, wow. I mean, big carnage here. You got nowhere to go. Oh my.
Oh wow. 48 of
like
Evan Scott.
Teddy bear.
Corey Knight gets stuck in the wall. Bunch of guys down low here.
Holy macaroni, man.
Oh my goodness. But Jake, up front, you've got Byron McDonald burning it down here at the front straightaway at Talladega. What a win for driver 23. You go out, you get the first win of the playoffs, and you're not safe by any means for the next 2 rounds, Jake, but what a drive tonight by driver 23. That was crazy. And I'll tell you, we're not,
Dean, that you used up your luck for picks tonight.
Well, hey, you're welcome, Battler. Hey, who knows? maybe me and Jake will initiate a trade for tomorrow. But Jake, you know that we saw the first half of that wreck replay there, but my goodness, coming to the line, the race to the finish, that was worthy of a wreck replay all on its own. And I'm not certain if our production booth has it.
I hope you're buying Sean Griffith dinner, buddy.
Yeah, I'd like to go back and look at this move by Byron McDonald.
He gets up here down the backstretch and. You know, right there, Vincent Cortez had a little move to kind of block him to the wall, but good move by him kind of staying low there. And Byron moves up in front of his teammate, the 224.
I want you to watch the 54 out of 4 here. This is where it really ruins Vincent's chances. The 16 truck gets an awkward shot to the 54. And at that point, man, he's got no help behind him, unlike Byron McDonald. And at that rate, they touch. A little Ryan Blaney, Eric Jones action. Byron McDonald able to edge him out right there at the end.
And the thing is, man, when you're Vincent and you're down there on the inside, you know that Byron's got all the momentum in the world. And, you know, it's not dirty driving. It's not rough driving, anything like that. I mean, you're coming to the checkered flag, and, you know, he's got to go up there and try to do what he can to slow him down. You know, he didn't spin him. He didn't turn him around, nothing. You know, Byron got a little loose, and I'm not certain if Vincent kind of checked up a little bit for him, just saying, hey, that's not how I want to win it, or Byron just made the save of a lifetime. But like I said, right here, he starts to go around and you know, just is able to drive through the thing and take the checkered flag. And then Andrew Harris at the checkered goes around.
Yeah, P3 for him. Able to come back from, you know, getting involved in a few accidents. So, wow. A lot of process there. It's crazy to see happen, but I mean, here we go. We're going to bring you the top 20 finishers leading this thing off with the win for Rev Racing, our one of our broadcast partners for the Cup Series. Byron McDonald in the 23, Vincent Cortez coming home second for Tank Racing. Third place is going to be Andrew Harris from Bronco Motorsports. Fourth is going to be Josh Mueller from Tank Racing, and fifth place that 54 truck from R&D Motorsports, Jason Crackey.
Oh, goodness. All right. I'm sorry, Jake. That's just so much to unpack here.
Sixth place is going to be James Kerr, the 75 for Jonathan Byer Racing. Seventh place, Brandon Domain from Stryker Motorsports. Eighth place is going to be Bobby Anderson from R&D Motorsports. Michael York, another Bronco Motorsports truck in ninth. Travis Trevelyan coming home 10th place for Stryker Motorsports.
All right, Jake, I think we're ready here. We got Josh Witt in 11th for H2K Motorsports, Matt Johnson for Jonathan Byer Racing in 12th, Cody Madden in 13th for H2K Motorsports, Rob Yost for Team SRN, Walt Lipicki for Tank Racing in 15th, Brian Crocker for Bronco Motorsports in 16th, Brad Yonkman in 17th for Team SRN, Jack Johnson for Jonathan Byer Racing coming home in 18th, Taylor Smith for Team SRN in 19th, and rounding out your top 20, the driver we saw stuck in the wall there in the middle of 1 and 2, Jonathan Byer, the owner of JBR himself. And Jake, we saw him get turned right there at the end at the line. But our third place finisher this evening, Andrew Harris. This is Dean Brummett and Jake Rowell up in the Speed Racing Network booth. How are you doing this evening, buddy?
I think I just crapped my pants.
Well, I think we all did for you here, man. I mean, that was just absolutely crazy. We didn't know if we were going to make it around to the white flag, and as soon as we saw the white flag come out, I just kind of looked and said, man, this is about to get absolutely crazy. And sure enough, it did. We saw the wrecks happen behind you, and you tried to make that last little charge there for the start-finish line, and we saw you get turned to the inside wall, but still came across in third. So, Andrew, why don't you tell us about your race this evening, buddy?
Well, everything up till then, when me and Madden got into it up to the front, that was perfect. And then obviously getting turned on the restart, I was a little upset about that. But I'll take somehow at the beginning of the first green-white checkered, I was in 26th. I'll take somehow when that checker comes out, I was in third. I don't know how I did it. There's a lot of wrecking. It wasn't me. I don't know.
Yeah, moral of the story tonight was avoiding all these wrecks. Was your strategy to be up front all night, or did you kind of want to be, in the back of the pack to avoid them? I know we kind of saw you up front. Was that just kind of the game plan going into this thing?
We kind of had a weird game plan. It was, wherever we qualified, if we were more towards the front, more towards the back, that's where we were either going to take over the front or we were going to go to the back. Well, with Brian Crocker, heck of a qualifying job. He qualified in third. We pretty much set our sights on the front. And then throughout the race, individually, things happened with me getting into York, which that was a disaster. But I already apologized to him. He made it back up to ninth, so good race for him. It was just kind of a survive, kind of like I did at the end, Matrix style.
Well, buddy, you bent the bullets around you just like Neo did. And Andrew, we get to see. It seems like the last few weeks we've had some Bronco driver in some way, shape, or form up in our booth. And this week you get to be the lucky one. So, man, before we let you go back down to your team, anybody that you'd like to thank this evening?
Oh, yeah, 100%. And first off, I mean, you're always going to see somebody from Bronco up here. Guarantee it. Put money on it. And in that case, I'll say, I want to thank Bronco for letting me run. Sandwich Man Racing, Sports Memorabilia, awesome shop. I haven't got anything because I'm broke from there. Shoney's. Heard they're pretty awesome. Like I said, the guys from Broncos, you guys for putting this whole thing on. That's awesome.
Well, man, we definitely appreciate you running with us. Congrats again on a podium finish this evening. Andrew Harris, driver of the 87 for Bronco Motorsports. Have a good evening, buddy.
Absolutely, you too.
Well, Jake, there you hear it. He said we expect a Bronco car in the booth every single week, and hey, that's a lot to work for. But I'll tell you what, someone else who absolutely worked their tail off this evening was that second place finisher, Vincent Cortez. Vincent, this is Dean Brummett and Jake Rowell up in the Speed Racing Network booth. Second place finish this evening, buddy. How's I know second is not the most fun spot to finish in, but man, you had a heck of a race this evening.
Yeah, I mean it sucks. But it's fun.
Man, we saw you coming down there to the checkered, racing with Byron McDonald, trying to get to that line. We saw that he had the momentum up top, and we saw you kind of move up a little bit, and just got to his left rear. Both of you kind of got sideways, and he just carried a little more momentum. Walk us through that white flag lap and what was going through your mind.
Yeah, from what I can remember, I went to the outside, cleared the bottom, and just rode it. I was just hoping everyone would stay down there because I knew if they got to the top, they would have the momentum off before. And someone who was pushing me, they got bumped a little weird. They spun out, and I knew that it was going to be hard to win it from there.
Well, man, it was a heck of a drive for you here this evening. As I go through and look, I see that you had qualified in 22nd, worked your way all the way up to second between missing the wrecks. And I know that you had actually won our Daytona recruitment race earlier in the season when we were trying to get participation here. So definitely showing your hand as a plate racer for sure, Vincent. And, with Tank Racing coming home in second, is there anybody that you'd like to thank this evening?
Of course, all of Tank Racing, they took a chance on me. I'm just trying to repay them for it. Of course, sponsors Red Bull.
Well, Vincent, man, like we said, definitely awesome here. We expect to see you up front here in the coming weeks. Beautiful car out here this evening. My wife is an absolute Red Bull connoisseur, and I always joke with her that she pulls for drivers other than myself. Your truck has hers number one on the board in the Xfinity Series. It's Greg Olenek in his cow car, and hey, even in the Cup Series, I'm certain she's found someone besides me to pull for. So, Vincent, awesome job this evening, buddy. Have yourself a good night. Thank you.
All right, you too. Thank you.
Well, Jake.
All righty, here we go. Now we're going to get
the victory lane.
Byron McDonald. I'll let you do it since it was your pick. I'll give you all the glory.
Down to victory lane, we have Byron McDonald, Dean Brummett's pick for the Speed Racing Network race here at Talladega. Byron, I knew you had it in you this evening, buddy. Congratulations on your first ever win here with SRN.
First ever league race win right there, man. That's huge. First and foremost, thanks to Cody Riggs for pushing me there, man. And hats off to Vince Cortez for keeping it off me and really just having a good race, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, man, it was definitely awesome. We were sitting there watching the restart and, just kind of watching you move through here, maneuver. We saw the big wreck happen behind you when the white flag came out. When that happened, what was going through your mind? Was it just get in front of your teammate, just get around to the lead? Like, I know that there's a lot to unpack in the white flag lap here of a Talladega race, especially when you win. But, man, just walk us through what was going through your mind there.
It was funny because I heard the wreck happen behind me. And my teammate Cody to my outside, who it really actually helped me because he goes, "Oh, it's over." So he starts backing down thinking the yellow's coming. I was like, "No, stay in it." So I jumped to the outside, and that's just how it opened up for us. And luckily Vincent's help got pushed out of the way, and it really just came together for us there at the end.
Well, buddy, it was awesome seeing you up front there. We had mentioned the playoff implications this evening. You started the night, you had Cole Martin coming in as the points leader, and he got a less than peak finish this evening. So while the points themselves reset with the start of the playoffs, you now have distinguished yourself as the first winner of this playoff race. So, Byron, I know that you had a recent new sponsor come on board with you here. So, who all do you have to thank this evening?
I especially thank our main sponsor there, man, Tradesman's Trash Outdoor. Give them a like on Facebook. Griffith CPA Firm, Silverback Tax Solutions, Red Racing, all my teammates out there. My team captain, Adam. This one's for you because you said I couldn't do it, so I wanted to prove you wrong. It's just the start of the playoffs, man. It's a different mindset, like you said, and it's really just coming together. And I look forward to next week.
Well, Byron, last season it was a win and you're into the next round of the playoffs. This year, having to go through and race a little harder. So I know this win will definitely build you some momentum. When it comes to next week, what are you looking for, man?
Yeah. Even with the one at the end, you still got stuff to learn. So I come into the same mindset I come in every week, want to win a race and ultimately just get the most points. So hopefully get out front next week. Kansas is one of my good tracks, but I'm really looking forward to Dover. So we can get through next week, and today really helped us. So next week's kind of get what you can and hopefully come away with a good finish.
Well, Byron, congrats once again, buddy. First time winner here for Speed Racing Network. We're going to get you back down to your team. Congrats once again.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all.
Well, Jake Rowell, what a night we just saw here at Talladega for the Talladega Days 135. And next week we're going to have us another good one here. We went based off the real NASCAR race name. It was a fan vote. So next week's going to be the Bushy McBushlight 130 at Kansas Speedway. Same time and place, Wednesday, April 28th, 9:30 p.m. Central, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Jake, what are you looking for next week's race?
It's going to be all about finding the line there that you're able to just keep your momentum up. They added that multi-groove racing there. That track used to just be run up by the wall after one or two laps, able to hook the white line through the corners, and now it's going to be a different animal for a lot of these guys. Obviously, official races haven't gone there yet, so it's going to be very, very different than what it's everyone's accustomed to. So I think it's going to be about who's able to find speed wherever they aren't, and it should be a good race. But tomorrow night, Dean, week one of the playoffs for our Xfinity Series drivers, we got one of them here as our pit road reporter, and Daniel Bowler. I know this race is going to be crazy tomorrow night, Thursday, April 22nd. 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I mean, Daniel, I'll open the floor to you, man. What do you expect to see tomorrow night?
I think very similar to tonight. Everybody's going to try to take it easy at times. Save their stuff, get to the end of this race. But it's going to get wild. It's at Talladega. Everybody's really aggressive here, and it just opens up the door to a lot of people that maybe normally don't get to run up front a whole lot. It's a lot easier to be able to get up front and race with all those leaders. So definitely look for some people being aggressive and some people taking it easy.
Well, guys, what a race we saw this evening, Daniel. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow, making me 2-2 on my picks. And, guys, that race is going to be tomorrow night, April 22nd, 9 p.m. Central and 10 p.m. Eastern. That's going to be the Talladega Days 150 for our Speed Racing Network Xfinity Series. Well, this is Dean Brummett, Jake Crowell, and Daniel Bowdler up here in the Speed Racing Network booth, reminding you to always go faster.